accessible internally. So it's accessible by the smart contract and outside of the smart contract, and internally are all only by the smart contract, by what is inside it, and not the exterior world. So here you have a notation. So you have to set this attribute, like here. This will mean that this implementation block is a public functions. Okay, and then the functions that are only internally accessible, so private, are defined without any how to say attributes. This attribute is just normal an attribute that will generate this trait, so you can ignore it. It's not signaling anything important to the compiler regarding the smart contract. But here you have the portion of code that will be private, and here you have the portion of code that will be public. Okay. We will see the mutability now before I show the example. So the mutability is going to be who can modify and access the state of the contract. So the state of the contract is like all the values stored in the contract. So you will have two possibilities. One, when you access the contract state, you can mutate or read only the values. So when you want to mutate the values stored, you have to have the ref word before. So here. So before the name of the parameter, you have to add ref before. So basically what it's doing is that it's passing the variable as a reference. And if you want to only read the variable but not change it, you can just pass it like this, just by name. And it's actually gonna pass a snapshot. So the difference between reference and snapshots is explained in the Cairo book. So it's explained in a lot of detail here. You can read it, but basically it's a little bit like, you can see it as a pointer, and it's very important in Cairo, as Cairo is as an immutable memory. The snapshot and reference is very useful. In other computer languages, sometimes you don't have this distinction. But in Cairo, it's a very important distinction at all time when you code. So you will maybe experience a lot of this, like reference, like mutability exceptions. But basically, if you want to change the state of the contract, you pass it by reference. And if you want to read only, you pass it by snapshot. Also, something important to note is that a function that will change the state will require a transaction, because it's going to interact with the blockchain. So it's going to change the value stored on the blockchain. So to change this value, it needs to make a transaction, while the read-only doesn't require a transaction, because it's just going to access the value stored. So this one will be free, and this one will require a gas fee for the transaction. So of course, in Remix, everything is free because we use this testnet, devnet here. But basically on devnet or testnet, it's always free. but you have to keep it in mind when you make a smart contract, what is going to be, what is free, what will cost gas, and what will not. And yes. So, okay, we have seen everything here in this example. So we can go on Remix and try it. Chuk, chuk, chuk. So it was visibility. Okay. Okay. So we can compile it. Here again, we have an interface. Value in the storage. Okay, so you have a set value that is taking the contract state as a reference to change its value. So it's going to take value as a parameter and write the new value in the storage. So it's going to interact with the blockchain to change this value and set this one instead. And here you have a view function. So yes, I think for those who code in Solidity, you are familiar with view functions. So view functions are free. They are read-only. And here it's taking the contract states as a snapshot. So here you have the little at that makes the snapshots, and it's going to return the value. So here we can see that it's reading the value and returning it. Okay, so those functions are public functions. There is a dog, sorry. So those are public. You can see it by this attribute, and these are private. So in this example, maybe it's not straightforward to have this function as private. It's more for the sake of example, but basically this read function is declared here as a private function, and it can only be accessed in this contract. So from like here inside the contract. And so this function was able to use it. But if you create another contract, you cannot import it. You cannot use it elsewhere. And so if you want, you can add like other, like more to it than just reading. But basically, you can have an extra layer of privacy by doing this. Okay. So now I'm selecting this visibility. Okay, it's already deployed. I mean, I can deploy it. It's better. Oops. Okay. Visibility. What's going on? What's... Okay. Let's ignore it for now. Okay. I broke it. Okay, perfect. So here I can interact with visibility. So as I mentioned, there is two public functions. So the get and the set function. Here we can see... No, this is so buggy. What is happening? Okay, I don't know why it's going back to this one. Okay. Okay. So we have the get function and the write function set. So get is only reading the smart contract, and set will write a value. So here, for example, we can write 4. we can call the smart contracts. So what set is going to do is it's taking value as a parameter and then writing it in the storage in the value in the variable also named values. So don't be confused. It's two different things. So this one is the storage variable, this one, and this one is the parameter of the set function. So those are two different values. This one is the one I can set here. Okay, so it worked. Now I can read. I can call the function, and here in the response, we have 4. So this get function made a call to the private function read value that read the value here that was stored in the blockchain. So this value made a transaction and set this in the storage of this smart contract on the blockchain. And this one only accessed it. So it's a free function. Okay. That's not ideal. Okay. Okay. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. So I was supposed to give one more chapter, but it's getting a bit like over the time. So guys, let me know what you want to do. I can continue with the last chapter, or if you feel like you need a break and it was a lot for today, I can stop here. Let me know what you prefer.
I
Yes.
feel like we can stop here because when you have a lot of information, it's a little
Yes.
bit tricky.
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna give you last minute recommendations. So I really recommend you to try on Remix to compile, deploy, and interact with the smart contracts. So it's a very good exercise to have a first hands-on. The more hands-on you get, the more you will be familiar and the less scared you will be, because sometimes you think like you need to be a pro before you can start doing something, but it's really good to start executing the examples. And then, yes, when you read the Starknet by example, there is a lot of coding programming concepts that are not explained. And most of the time, they are like really well detailed in the Cairo book. So here it's all Cairo book. You have public functions, snapshots and reference, how to write tests, variable and mutability. So yes, you have a lot of extra information that are super useful. And yes, I think that's it. Don't hesitate to ask any question by Telegram, and also don't forget to make your small video about concepts that we discussed today. Okay.
Thank you very much. That was really useful, interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Interactive.
Before we close, I need to know, like, when will I be getting your videos? That's a question that I have for everyone on the study group. Okay. I've also shared a template for you, like just for the first page. So you can put your image there, and I put a Starknet logo. So you can use that template as well to record your videos. And yeah, like don't wait to get started. Don't hesitate to get started. And yeah, okay. From Katya, I'm going to get 2 videos next week because Katya, your previous session video is also pending. So, okay, next week, 2 videos. So Katya is gonna give us 2 videos by 19th of August. And then, okay, IJ, come on, you can do it. Just sit in front of your laptop, just open like your Zoom or Loom, which credentials I will share, and just it's just like talking to yourself. You're just explaining the concept to yourself. Just think of it that way because you're not public speaking yet. So don't worry like how people will perceive your video, what they think about me. Like don't have any of this imposter syndrome, right? So yeah, Haripriya, yeah, sure. I can maybe set up a separate time with you, or let me also DM you on Telegram and I'll share with you more instructions. But yeah, like don't worry about the fact that do you know less, do you know more? Like all of it doesn't matter. It's just you refreshing your concepts in the form of a video. Just think about it that way, right? And just get started because you're not doing it in an IRL setting. You're just doing it like with yourself, right? You have a set of concepts. It's more like you're reading, you're understanding, and you're explaining to people. So, yep. So